But welcome to Honeycomb. We're getting the buzz on Jordyn, Danielle, and Marlee.
All three of them wrote a really awesome three-voice poem, and we'd like to ask them some questions about it. So I guess first question I want to ask is, what inspired you three to work together on this?
I think we started working on this at Poetry Jam, like the event that we do. I don't remember. I think we passed around prompts that were important to us. I'm pretty sure like that was something like writing down words that were important to us. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, I remember we for Poetry Jam they did those breakout groups where they would break us into like different areas of the library, and they would give us different prompts and we'd rotate, and we all ended up just getting like similar stuff.
So out of all three of you, who was a part of the Echo?
Yeah, at the time, me and Marlee were not in the Echo.
I wasn't either.
So me and Marlee ended up joining the next year for 2 years. But Danielle, I think you graduated, right? Like that year.
Yeah, so I was in the Echo prior, but that last year was, I think, my senior year, if I remember. And I wasn't taking any creative writing classes, and I was graduating early. So I wasn't in the Echo, but I was still active with the events that they were having. So
yeah, I think all of us were in creative writing club at like different points. And Jordyn and I know that was the year that I think both of us did creative writing 1 and 2, or at least I know we both did creative writing 2 that year. And that was kind of the year that we both were like, oh, we really want to be in the Echo. Like this is dope.
Yes, agree.
So with you guys having pretty good memories in the Echo, what does the Echo mean to you individually?
Echo was just a really big family for me in my last couple years of high school, and it really just was an amazing like home base. Every morning you can ask Marlee, like we were in there like almost every single morning. It's just like where we went to start the day. It's where I was able to be like a creative person. It was where I was able to like totally be myself and just like explore my writing a lot.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, always like just that environment of you could be your weirdest self. It was just kind of a place where you could, I feel like at least I learned how to be myself almost like through it. How it's okay to just like be a quirky, weird writing kid and like talk about your feelings and have people listen, and you can just be there for others too if you really like that. And of course you're growing your like technical skills as a writer and like skills if you want to be in like writing or editing or publishing.
I think the Echo was and still is and has always been a safe place for Steinbrenner students because nobody judges you. Everybody appreciates and validates you and how you feel, because the Echo was a really good way for people to kind of get an introduction of who they are to themselves, because a lot of the times in high school we don't know who we are, and we're still trying to figure out like who we want to be and what we want our identity to be for others. And the Echo is a really good fertilizer for the kind of people that we want to be, because it opens up a lot of doors and a lot of creative paths and opportunities to be able to kind of blossom in the things that we want to be able to be good at and how we want to express ourselves. And nobody ever judges you or would shame you or anything for anything that you were going through or writing about or just hanging out. So, and it was just always fun. It was like a family. It was a really good group of friends, and it was really diverse, and I loved that.
So going off of that, do you guys have any favorite memories from either writing this poem together or from being in the Echo that you would like to share?
I always loved it wasn't the poetry jam, but it was like a winter like poetry open mic kind of thing that we would have in the library. And there would always be snacks, and people would bring like their friends and their family and stuff. And it was really cool because a lot of the times some of the poems that people, or even pieces that people would present, you kind of knew, like, especially if you had class, you knew that they were working on it in class. And so being able to see where they started and how they practiced, to actually see them perform it in front of their families was something I always enjoyed.
Probably one of my favorite memories is just us doing Uncensored like once a month during my senior year, even though we had to like cut it short because of COVID. Those like few uncensored days that we had were just like really awesome because it was like the Echo and it's like supporters at like their absolute weirdest. And so it was just very much about just like being yourself and like speaking your truth. And I just remember we laughed so much every time we had that, and we just had like a lot of fun.
For me, I would say obviously like the big events that we had, like poetry cafe, whenever we would do like competition or even an uncensored, like those are always very great like bonding experiences, obviously. But for me, I feel like it was kind of just the day-to-day consistency of knowing that like I had somewhere to go that was like home for me, and it would just be like just like relief that I was like, oh, I'm here, like I'm home, I'm working on stuff that I really care about with people that I really care about and like working with, and like some of my best friends are here and I can just vent about my day. And I think that was like something that not a lot of kids get to have as a high school class.
So have you guys continued any of your writing careers?
I am in a outside of school like writers group called Wind, Writers in Need of Direction, and that's been like a really awesome way that I've got to keep writing even though I'm not publishing anything. I currently write for FSU's chapter of Her Campus magazine. Also on the FSU Kudzu Review, which is kind of like the literary magazine. And I just really want to keep writing. You know, I'm looking to possibly pursue an editing, writing, and media degree at FSU, and I know that like I would not have felt as confident to do that without being in the Echo for as long as I was.
I'm pursuing a major in journalism, so obviously like I'm planning on keeping writing. And one thing that I learned a lot about poetry in the Echo, and right now I'm doing a lot of like songwriting and like forming. I had like a band in high school, like trying to form a new band up here, and like that's obviously coming into play a lot. And I am going to be applying in spring also to a lot of our fall, like in the spring, different magazines like on campus. But I think that Go also just opens you up to a lot of other experiences as well, like in the creative fields. Like you learn how to use Photoshop and like Lightroom. And Echo, at least I learned that. And now I like am also working as a photographer for like the largest student philanthropy at the University of Florida, and I could not have done that without like skills I had learned in the Echo as well.
When I got to college, I joined the military, and I knew I had a passion for photography and writing before I joined. But ever since joining, I've realized that that's a kind of career that you can pursue inside and outside of the military. And so right now I'm trying to work on trying to develop my skills as not only just a regular military or a regular photographer and writer, but also as a military photographer and writer. So that is something. And like Marlee said, like learning Photoshop and learning Lightroom definitely helps, especially from a photography side, but learning how to write properly and learning how to kind of establish your voice as a writer definitely kind of gives you those tool sets to be able to pick from once you get to the point where you can start actively writing on your own at a college level. So
I would just like to tell you guys that we are going to be hosting a live poetry jam / poetry cafe on Instagram and through Zoom, where we can have anybody's allowed to join. So if you guys are into that and have something you'd like to submit or read aloud, we welcome you guys there. I'm pretty sure it's going to be during the holiday time. We don't have an exact date, but I'm pretty sure Vaughn will let you guys know.
Oh, gee, that's so cool.
Very
Hope to
exciting.
see you guys there.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for having us, and I
Yeah,
can
Cheers.
go see this like poetry event. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you so much for letting us interview you all. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.